South Africa's Supreme Court of Appeal has ruled that the country's former president, Jacob Zuma's parole was unlawful and that he should go back to the prison. But this judgment has divided the nation. While some feel he should serve his sentence, others feel otherwise. Our reporter, Calden Ogmu, reports from Durban, South Africa on this. Take a look.
In less than 2 months after Jacob Zuma celebrated being a free man, the Supreme Court of Appeal has left the ball in the Department of Correctional Services court regarding a way forward for the former president's incarceration. It says the parole that was granted to him by then prison boss Arthur Fraser was unlawful. Jacob Zuma Foundation feels this is double jeopardy for the 80-year-old. The opposition party Democratic Alliance wants Zuma back in prison immediately. Zuma was sentenced to 15 months in prison in July last year
for a period of 15 months.
But the country's top court for contempt of court for refusing to appear before the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into Corruption. He served less than 2 months before he was released on a medical parole.
The Democratic Alliance has sent a letter to the National Commissioner of Correctional Services urging him to abide by the Supreme Court of Appeal's ruling that Jacob Zuma's medical release on parole was illegal. Therefore, it is incumbent on him to ensure that President Zuma is taken back to the correctional facility to continue serving the term of the sentence that he was sentenced for. Therefore, what remains is for the correctional services to ensure that Mr. Zuma returns to serve the rest of his sentence, and in the event that he fails to do so, an arrest must be initiated so that the law of the country may be enforced.
We are heartened to know
Zuma's legal battle has divided the country, but what is the way forward for him? Will this have an impact on the ruling African National Congress's National Conference next month?
The ruling by the Supreme Court of Appeal to set aside the parole that was granted to former President Jacob Zuma will not have any material implications on his political career or even on his participation at the upcoming elective conference of the African National Congress. However, what is important and of great concern is the fact that from that judgment there's arisen a plethora of questions on whether or not the judiciary is loyal to the law, applies the law as written, not based on political considerations.
The Department of Correctional Services is appealing the SCA judgment. It believes that another court may come into a different conclusion.
The ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, which is former president's home province, has stated that regardless of the SCA judgment, Zuma would remain a free man, as this was good for the province and the country's stability. However, it seems like the courts are telling otherwise, as Zuma still has long court battles to fight until he can actually rest. This is Calden Ogmu from Durban, South Africa. For WION, World is One.